Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here for another Wednesday marketing webinar. And first of all, I hope you all had a great New Year's and Christmas if you celebrate that, and whatever holiday you may have had. Hope that all went well right there. So pretty exciting times. It's a brand new year, which is why we thought on this call we'd basically make this on how to kind of start the new year skyrocketing your business results. So it's just a handful of action plans and things to basically look for to really kind of take your business to the next level. Or even if you're brand new, how to kind of start one and what to look out for. So regardless if you're brand new or have an existing one, I would feel that this can really help you. So a lot of information on this call right here. But we'll try to save a little time at the end for some questions as well. So feel free to ask away on those as well. And just as a reminder, we have these calls every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is right about now, where we'll host a live training and or Q&A call for our members. And if you're here or you're registered for the series, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make one, we'll have the recordings in the members area, usually within a day or less, under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. So you click on the training, then you click on the Wednesday calls, and you'll see the most recent one at the very top right there. And if you want a chance to win $100 today towards the end of this call, make sure to join our free Facebook group right here at getwebfire.com/FB group. If you're not a free member of that, you can go there right now and you'll probably be approved within a couple minutes. If you do so right now, then we'll give you some instructions towards the end of this call and what to do, where we'll actually give you a chance to win $100 live at the end of this call, where we'll do the drawing live and all that too. But before we start, I just have a quick question just to get some feedback from you guys. Just see what you guys like the most, because we've gotten a handful of different requests and stuff, and we want to just get some feedback from all of you to see what you guys really prefer. So the question is, and I'll give you the numbers to type in for your responses. We are debating if you guys wanted to basically continue these weekly live calls each week, or if you'd basically prefer us to do a new video training each week, like a short new training or observation each week that we release in the free Facebook group, and then allow you to ask basically any question and such you want there. And of course, if we did that, we'd still mix in some live calls now and then as well. But we just thought we'd get some feedback from you guys. So the question is, would you prefer that we just basically continue with these live calls, every Wednesday, once a week, and that's that? Or would you rather us post a new video each week on the free Facebook group and allow you to ask basically any questions you want there? And of course, throw in the occasional live call as well. So if you'd basically prefer to continue as is, if you just type in a 1, whereas if you rather would have the short video training each week on a very specific thing, and then followed up by any questions you want, you can ask live and have occasionally some live calls as well. If that's more of what you'd want, maybe type in a 2. So I know there's a lot of guys that have been asking if we could maybe do some videos and stuff instead. So I just thought I'd survey you all and see what you would basically prefer to do right there. So any of that feedback would definitely be helpful, because we want to make sure that we're basically doing stuff that you guys like and would prefer. So let us know. So moving on to our training for this week, where we'll basically talk about how you can basically crush it for the new year. So for the overview for this call, we'll first go over basically all the ways to crush it for the new year, what to look out for in your business, what to change, what to play around with. Then we'll do a Q&A. We'll have probably little time for that. Then we'll give some cash away. So starting or growing a business doesn't have to be hard, but too many people basically either overthink it or don't really pay attention to what makes a business successful versus not. So we put together basically an action plan that anyone can easily implement this year, with essentially checklists and stuff of things to do to get results and grow your business. And we'll basically cover things for both those that are just starting out, as well as those who have an existing business that they want to really expand. So first, we'll first start with if you have either no business or you're starting out, then we'll kind of move on into what you should do past that. So if you're starting a new business, if you have a general niche idea, you want to research online forums, social media, or Facebook groups, the search volume and competition from like the keyword tool inside of Webfire and so forth, to really see what you're truly up against, or if there's even much of a market out there. Because I can't tell you the number of times that people want to get into a market that really there's not much of a market that exists there. And you know, a lot of people think that they have to be the only person in the market, which usually that's actually a bad thing if there's no one else in it, because it might mean that there's not a market to start with. So make sure to do some research ahead of time. Then research what products and services your competitors are selling, what price points, what their funnels are like, where they're advertising, and so forth. And there's a few tricks to doing that. One is one of the easiest ways is if you're on Facebook, you can basically join a bunch of related Facebook groups and like some pages and stuff, all related to a particular niche. And then over the coming week or two, just watch and see what ads and stuff are being shown to you that are relevant there. And then check out those ads, check out, you know, their funnels, sign up to some mailing lists, see what's being advertised. If there's a product you really like, maybe buy it and see what the funnel's like, and just get some research to see what appears to be working. And then look at, say, hey, you know, if there's a product that seems to be getting, you know, lots and lots of views or lots and lots of comments, might be a good indicator that there's a market there. For physical products, you can check AliExpress.com. That allows you to basically drop ship, oftentimes for like free. So you don't even have to worry about having stock or anything like that. And there's all sorts of products that you can ship, oftentimes worldwide there. Now, the key is when you do a search on it, they allow you to actually sort by popularity and like what the best sellers are and stuff. So you can clearly see what seems to be moving the most volume and such there. If there's something that has, you know, thousands and thousands of sales, it's probably an indicator that, hey, there's probably a decent market for that right there. Then you can also look for related products or ones that you can have for upsells and such too, so you can test new ideas without having to actually stock the stuff yourself. Now, for services, you want to check well-known providers on social media and cheaper alternatives that are on places like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, where there's a lot of stuff for $5, just to see what the differences are, especially between the super expensive services and the super cheap one, and then see what you can do to turn a $5 service into one much, much bigger. Oftentimes, you can find a $1,000 service for $5, but the only difference is either the way it's marketed or maybe in a handful of easy benefits that aren't mentioned or done on one. I mean, it might be like, you know, I've seen in the past, there's sometimes like services for $1,000 that are basically just a combination of a few $5 services on Fiverr. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, but the key on that is the more hands-free you can make a service, the more you can charge. The more work you ask a person to do, the less likely you are to not only make a sale, but the less likely you are to be able to charge a lot more as well. And what you can also do is, if you don't want to do kind of like the service work yourself, you can look to find a service maybe on Fiverr.com or some other sites and stuff like that. See ones that have a lot of social proof, a lot of happy, you know, reviews and all that right there. And then basically ask them if you can use their social proof and stuff if you resell their services, but you maybe spruce up, you know, their sales page as your own, or you spruce up the marketing pitch and the message that they send and charge a lot more, and that can be a real winner. Or combine it with other services and stuff out there. So instead of just charging maybe $10 to write an article, you could charge $500 to make a custom blog with 5 articles on it, and optimize for the search engines and all that. And that'd be a steal of a deal, when really you can find guys to make a basic blog for $5. You can find guys to write five articles or blog posts for $5 a piece. And you can find guys to do some custom graphics for that blog for another $5 right there. So you just basically turned $35 into $500, if not $1,000 or more right there. And it's just by making the service more hands-free, more done for you, and a more appealing offer that a lot more people would want. Now, for digital products, check places like clickbank.com, forums, check some Google searches and such to see what others are selling and see who the leaders are. Check out, related forums and such, see what people are talking about. Maybe also check some Facebook groups and stuff like that. Even ask a question like, hey, what are some of the market leaders for this or that, just to see basically what people are saying. And for digital products, you can easily interview experts to turn the interviews into a product, research the topic yourself, hire a ghostwriter, and so forth. So there's really no excuse not to have one. I oftentimes hear the excuse of, oh, I'd love to have a product, but I'm not an expert in anything. And I say, well, okay, but so what are you going to do about that? And they kind of give this blank stare, saying, oh, well, I can't do squat because I'm not an expert. Well, you can spend a couple hours, research almost anything, and be an expert on almost anything by using Google and YouTube. You could hire a ghostwriter to do it all for you and to do the research, or you could even pay to do an interview with an expert and turn that into a product. I actually know a guy that had a product on diabetes. He wasn't an expert himself, but he basically paid one like $50 or so to basically do like an interview to make like a mini product, and he made a lot of money off of that right there. So there's really no actual excuse out there that's really valid. So the only excuses that you might have there are ones for yourself on why you haven't basically taken the small amount of time to make a product there. Even for services, there's really no excuse when you can easily be a middleman to start. So using services like Fiverr and stuff, which we just talked about, again, you could turn those into your own, or you can use Webfire to do the services for you. So you can use the tools to do the services to save you a lot of time and a lot of work right there. But it's also very important to test an offer out first before spending tons of time on it and hoping that it works. So I see sometimes guys that spend literally years making a product, making sure it's perfect, and then after all that time, they find out that they can't get it to sell. And especially in this day and age, you can't take years and years and years and years to make a product. I mean, imagine if there was a guy, and I think the main culprit here is people not only procrastinate, but a lot of people want to be a perfectionist and have everything be perfect. But imagine if there was a guy years ago who wanted the perfect product on Facebook, or not on Facebook, on MySpace. So let's say he would take years and years and years making sure everything was perfect. By the time he was probably done, MySpace was gone. So you can't take forever on stuff. And even if there's a product or service that's still around by the time you're done, the competition is oftentimes way, way, way ahead of you because you took forever to bring it to market. So one of the easy ways to not waste a lot of money or time is to do basically paid ads to a simple free opt-in page. So have like a free opt-in page for maybe an article on a topic, or like the top, like something that's like a top 5 list or the top 5 tips or something. Give something away for free, even do like a giveaway or something, just to see what the response is like. I mean, if it basically costs you a fortune to get a free lead for a free offer in a certain niche, that might be an indicator that there's not a lot of interest in it. Or if only 1 out of 100 people opt in for your free offer that you think is super, super awesome, that might tell you that unless your offer completely sucks, maybe that niche isn't the best of niches to waste a ton of time on a paid thin. Because if people won't sign up for a free thin, they're probably not going to pay you a lot of money for something along those same lines right there. So with a small budget, you can run some paid ads for like a day or two on Facebook and get a pretty good idea if people will like the general niche or the general offer or not. You can also spy on your competitors' ads, especially on Facebook and such, and see how popular they might be, like how many comments that they have, if it's a video, how many views it has, just to give you an idea. Like if there's something that has like, only a handful of views or no comments, that might be an indicator that, hey, it's not as popular as you maybe think. Whereas if there's one that has like thousands and thousands of comments and millions of views, and they've been running paid ads to it, that tells you, hey, they think it's worthwhile to continue paying ads, and a lot of people seem to have an interest in it. There might be something there, and then you could try to mimic, their funnel, or see what their ads are, what their offers are, what their funnels are, and basically take it from there. Now, you also want to make sure that the numbers make sense, and you factor in your true cost and time. Because I oftentimes see guys that they don't really have much of a business plan, and you can tell within seconds that their plan won't work because they don't do the math in their head. Like I've seen guys that don't have a funnel, they don't have any back end, and they're trying to sell a $7 product, and they're trying to do stuff with like maybe some paid ads first, or maybe getting ranked and stuff. And it might be that if they're trying to rank, they're trying to rank for a keyword that maybe gets a few hundred searches a month, and if they get 5 or 10% of those guys to click through to their page, and they convert a fraction of those into a sale, they're not making a lot of money, even if they get really awesome rankings in that case. Or on the flip side, on the paid ad side, if they're in a niche that might actually cost them like $1 or $2 a click, and they're selling a $7 product and that's it, the simple math says that won't work. Unless you have like the best conversions in the world, you're probably going to lose a lot of money on that. But a lot of people don't take the time to think that through. They just think, oh, I just need to do better on this or better on that, or I just need to have a better ad. And they don't think through the math that you're not going to win on that. It's kind of like if you're up against a tank, and you take a handgun and you shoot it, and you're like, oh, that didn't do a lot of damage. Must be this handgun. I'm going to try another handgun and see. You're like, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try another handgun. Oh, that didn't work. Must be the handgun. Must be a faulty bullet. When the obvious is you're not going to take out a tank with a bullet from gun, so why even try? But a lot of people think it's the gun's fault or the bullet's fault, and they'll continue the same thing, trying a new gun or a new bullet every time, instead of just saying, hey, maybe this is a bad idea to have a gun against a tank. Maybe it might not work out all that well. Rather, there might be a much easier target elsewhere, or you might be able to build out the funnel to have a much bigger gun that would give you a larger chance to make a lot more, so you actually could make that work. And one thing that can really help analyze your business and such, and also help you like kind of build out a funnel, is there's 2 tools that we actually give out for free. One you can get to if you go to bizfire.com/survey, and you just basically take a survey about your business, and it will give you a bunch of tips and stuff there. But once you're done with the survey, when it gives you the tips at the very top, there will be an ad for a free funnel maker that will kind of allow you to map out what your potential funnels and profits and stuff can look like. And I highly suggest you use and sign up for both those, because again, they're both free, but especially the funnel maker can really help kind of map out what your products and what your funnels and what your offers could look like. And I think that'd really be a great way to kind of see firsthand, what your ad costs might look like, what your profit might look like, and what the overall picture would look like right there, because it allows you to basically guess on your conversion rates, play around with your price points and all that right there to really get a good idea of, is there really money to be made there? And you'd be shocked at the number of people that would use that and say, wow, they really had a bad idea to start with, or they should really try to basically build out their funnel even more to have something that would actually work and make a profit. Now, moving on to basically growing an existing business, or to basically expand the new one that you would just have made. To grow an existing business, it all comes down to basically traffic, leads, funnels, conversions, and sometimes partnerships. Minor tweaks in any of these can drive drastic results that can turn a crappy business into a great one. So we put together some tips for each of these. First, starting with traffic. On the SEO side, make sure that you target keywords that are easier to rank for, still get traffic, and are more likely to be buyers. And then basically target these in your title tags, in your description tags, and use them within your content. And what I mean by, basically target guys that are more likely to be buyers, you want to look at the keywords that you're targeting and think to yourself, is this a keyword that someone would search for if they're looking to buy? Or is this just way too broad of a keyword that isn't necessarily a buyer? For instance, someone that does a search for, buy moped online, or, what is the best moped, or, 50cc engine versus 150cc engine in a moped, like any term like that, compared to a broad term like just mopeds, is probably someone either looking to buy one or doing research on one that they're likely looking to get soon as well. So almost all those basically be very likely to be a buyer. And a lot of people oftentimes don't go after those keywords because a buyer term oftentimes gets a lot less searches than a broad term. But that's okay because a buyer term is more likely to be a buyer. It's kind of like I had a story once of that there was a landscaper around here that ran some AdWords ads, and he lost tens of thousands of dollars on them because he was trying to target basically people that searched for terms like trees, because he thought, oh, that makes sense. If you're searching for a tree, you probably want to plant one. Therefore, I should have my ad there. But he wasn't thinking straight in that, hey, my guess is 99% of the people searching for a tree or a phrase that contains tree probably aren't looking to buy a tree. They're probably just either trying to get a picture of a tree, maybe doing some research on a tree. Maybe they're even doing a term like family tree, which obviously includes the word tree, stuff that has nothing to do with landscaping. Whereas if he just were to target terms like landscaper Madison, Wisconsin, or landscaping business Madison, Wisconsin, or tree delivery Madison, Wisconsin, or some term like that, there's a lot less searches, a fraction of them. But almost all of them are what? They're looking to buy. And you really want to focus on those right there. And then also make sure that the content that you provide on your site, not only do you have the keyword in the title tags and the description tags and within your site, but make sure that the content actually answers the question or the search that the person is searching for. If you're trying to rank for a term that doesn't really help, or if your site does not really help the user get a solid answer, you won't go too far. Like that, I've seen people that they'll have let's say a blog on weight loss tips for women, and they'll question why they don't rank for terms like, weight loss tips for men over 40. And it's like, well, your entire site is about women, so why would you rank? And they're like, well, I tried to, I have some tips here that, would also be relevant to a guy. It's like, well, great. I'm sure weight loss tips go both ways, but unless you specifically target that keyword and have relevant info specific to that search, make sure if it's weight loss tips for men, that you make it obvious that it's weight loss tips for men in your article and not weight loss tips for women instead, because Google tends to kind of kick out those sites pretty quickly if it's not relevant to what the searchers want. You also want to have a weekly plan to distribute content across your site, blog, videos, and so forth, and reuse content when you can to save time. For instance, a blog post and a video can basically cover the same keyword with minimal additional effort. You can even use, we have a tool inside of Webfire called Video Firestorm, which can turn an article into a video, or you can quickly make one very, very quickly and easily. So instead of like wasting a ton of time doing two completely different articles or two completely different videos, you can have like one be a blog post and one be a video, save a lot of time with minimal effort, and get sometimes twice the results, if not more. Now, your approach to traffic should include SEO, normal web pages and blogs, as well as videos, paid ads, and taking advantage of all your leads to generate as much traffic as possible, including, you should also have social media thrown in there as well. So you want to be kind of like a spider web, where you have lots of different areas that can kind of grab in the traffic. And once you get the traffic, you want to try to convert those to leads. And once you get those leads, you want to try to get even more traffic off those leads. So you want to, send, you want to basically email those leads more. You want to post on your social media more. You want to get more interaction there to ultimately try to get as much traffic as possible from all those different avenues. Now, moving on from traffic and moving into leads, if you're not collecting leads, you're being dumb. And if you're not mailing your leads often, you're being almost just as dumb, if not dumber. So make sure to fix that. Because I can't tell you the number of people, the number of businesses that don't even bother to try to basically grab leads. And then of the ones that do, I can't tell you the number that don't do anything with them. And that's kind of like almost defeats the purpose. You want to have a simple, no-brainer front-end offer to get leads into your funnel. And then you want to take advantage of special offers, of countdown timers for discount deals, and so forth when mailing your list. Because once you get those leads, you want to continuously email them, on your offers, whether it be your own stuff, new stuff of yours, affiliate offers that you can promote as an affiliate, whatever, to get, lots of traffic and a lot more sales from all those leads. And one of the things that works well is to have a special offer with like a limited time deal. And we like to do something that we call a three-day special or 3-day countdown discount deal, where basically you have a deal for like a very good deal. Like, it can be anything you really want, but like if you say like half off or something along those lines right there, it sounds way more appealing than, hey, save 5% on this. There's no real rush on that. If it's half off, that's a pretty good deal right there. And you have the special go for 3 days. And our 1, 2, 3 rule is this: on day 1, you email the list one time, and you basically just announce the special. You say, hey, for the next 3 days, it's half off, blah, blah, blah. And, you might get some sales then. You'll get some, not necessarily a ton. On day 2, you email the list 2 times, like once in the morning, once in the afternoon or evening, and you basically announce that, there's only 1 day left for the special. And on that day, you probably don't get much of any sales. Oftentimes, you won't get any on day 2. On day 3, the final day, where you say the deal ends at midnight, you want to basically email that list 3 times, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once later in the evening, where the sense of urgency goes up each time. Like if it's in the morning, you say, hey, this is the final day. If it's in the afternoon, you can say, hey, there's only a matter of hours left. And if it's if it's the last mailing that you do in the evening, and let's say the deal ends at midnight, you can say, hey, only minutes left, or deal ends any minute now, or warning, deal goes away at midnight. Anything like that. You really get a ton of sales the last day, especially as you get closer to the evening hours, or you get closer to the midnight deadline, you might get more sales in 1 hour than you will from the rest of the 3 days of the promos there. So really having a deadline can drive a lot of sales there, and so a great way to take advantage of a list there. You also want to sell lots of different things to your leads. So I oftentimes see those that basically build a list will only sell the same thing over and over and over and over again to their same leads. Like if they have a $7 product, they'll only sell the $7 product. And if they make that sale, they think, gee, awesome, I'm done. Let's try to hammer, the guys that haven't bought over and over and over again to buy the $7 offer. Whereas instead, you want to have a lot of different offers. So whether they buy the $7 offer or not, they're probably interested in some other stuff too. And if you don't have enough products or services of your own, you want to be an affiliate for other stuff, and you want to mail that stuff as well, because people are going to buy other stuff whether you make them an offer or not. It's not like you're the only product that they'll ever see. They're going to see a lot of products. So it's basically a question of, do you want to make money off of that, or do you want to make nothing off of it? Because it's your choice. And a lot of people choose to make nothing off of it because they think that, hey, they might lose out on a sale, and instead they just lose out on a ton of money. So definitely think that through there and have lots of different offers and market lots of different things to your leads. Now, moving on from leads to funnels, if you're only focused on a single offer, you're likely missing out on 3 times or more of the sales for almost no extra work or marketing. So yeah, you can literally sometimes even triple your business or more just by adding a simple funnel. And that's with no extra work, no extra marketing or anything like that. You want your focus to be on basically building a good funnel with a great front-end offer, followed by multiple upsells ranging from low to high-priced offers, as well as ideally a reoccurring offer as well. So I like to shoot for usually, like, not in all cases, but if you have like three upsells, that's a decent one to shoot for. If you don't have any, you're missing out on a ton of money. But don't overthink this part. Having something is better than nothing. You can always change it later. I actually know a guy once who he was like a day away from basically launching a product, and he's like, oh man, it'd be great to have an upsell, but I don't have the time, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you're overthinking it. Just shoot a video of yourself talking, because he didn't have time to write like a sales page. I'm like, shoot a video of yourself talking and mention how like you'll make like like a special Facebook group, or maybe like a special webinar training call, or something that he didn't even have to really have ready then, but he basically, I think in this case he chose to sell a special training in like a couple weeks. But you could like sign up then, and he'd do the call in like a couple weeks, which would basically give him time to put the stuff together. And he thought that it would completely flop, because like he looked super tired. His eyes looked red. He didn't look as into it. And to be honest, it didn't look like he did a great job on like the video or basically anything. But he still got a decent amount of sales. A decent amount of people took him up on his upsell, and he was shocked. And it was like, wow, he made a decent amount, of extra money, and that's just off one upsell, just by literally basically taking like 15 minutes and shooting a video and basically adding a buy now button. And his price point was, I want to say, like, I think he did it at like $97 or so, and his front end was like 27 or something along those lines. So he got a lot of extra money. In fact, in this case, I think it was responsible for like half or more of the money made in the launch was a result of that one OTO, or that one-time offer, or that one upsell right there. And that was just one, where if he actually spent some time to make a better one, or spent some time to have like a couple or a few upsells, he would have probably made way more even. So just start with something, because something is better than nothing. Don't overthink that. You also can spy on what your competition is doing in their funnel and see what you can mimic or even improve or add to, because oftentimes there might be products that you can see what they're selling as an upsell and then try to basically mimic those, or you might see some that don't have some upsells and you could try to improve those. Now here's a super awesome trick. Spy on a competitor that is paying for Facebook ads or Google ads and getting a lot of traffic or comments and views and so forth, and then see what their funnel is. If they don't have much of one, that means that you could likely make way more than them and do even better than them, because you can let them do the hard work of testing a new offer for you. So if you see that, hey, there's like millions of views on a video ad or thousands of comments on like another ad or anything like that, or you've seen that they've been at like the top of a Google ad for a long time for a competitive term or anything like that, if you see that they don't have much of a funnel, that basically tells you that their front-end offer is probably converting really well, but you can instantly make way more by having an upsell there. So you can mimic what their offer is and then make a ton more by having some upsells and such there. So you can make even more on what would basically be a proven winner in that case right there. So fairly easy trick to do. Now moving on to the next one is conversions. So a few tips on these for your business. One is always be testing. There's no such thing as, you know, the most optimal best sales page ever. There's always things you can do to improve, but you have to test that. Something as simple as a headline can have drastic results on opt-in rates and sales conversions. And this is like, you know, oftentimes the easiest thing to basically test or switch would be a headline, but people don't often do that. They're not often testing. And, you know, if you really look at this, simple little tweaks can have drastic conversions. So, you know, let's say you have an opt-in page and currently, you know, it converts at maybe 20%. So let's say, you know, 1 out of 5 basically opt in for your free offer. Well, you can not only improve your opt-in rate drastically just by improving it a bit. Like let's say you go from basically 20% to a 30% opt-in rate on a free offer, which is not crazy high. I mean, you can get things that's 50% or more in some cases, but so let's say you basically bump it from essentially 20 to 30%, effectively, that's a 50% increase, which means not only do you get 50% more leads, but right there, you'd have a 50% increase in sales as well, just off of that. But let's say then you go back and you look at your upsells and you're like, man, you know, I really just have one upsell. Maybe I could add another one. And if you increase, you know, those sales by, you know, let's say you make a third more just by basically offering one more upsell, that drastically improves the numbers even more based on the easy tweak that, you know, you made on the front end to improve your conversions there. Then you add an upsell, you boost that up even more, and then you say, well, gee, it looks like, you know, the first offer or maybe the first upsell isn't maybe converting all that great, and let's say, you know, it's converting at, you know, let's say, I don't know, maybe like 3% of all those leads. Let's say you do a few things and you basically bump it from 3% to 6% off of the leads. You're basically doubling the sales even again right there. Now, when you combine all those tweaks, so when you go from basically 20% to 30% on a free offer, your sales increase 50% right there. When you basically tweak that first offer you have and have it go from 3% to 6%, you double those sales again. So again, 300% right there. And then when you add the additional upsell, that basically adds, you know, let's say a third more in sales because you have another offer that's, you know, maybe a higher end offer or something like that. You know, you boost it up right there about 400%. So you're basically making 4 times the amount of money by just basically doing a handful of easy tweaks. And none of the numbers that I gave were like, you know, crazy ones where it's not like I said, hey, go from like, you know, basically 20% conversions on a free offer to 50%, which would be like, you know, way more right there. Or, you know, it's not like I said, hey, take an upsell at 3% and change it to basically 20% conversions. I mean, obviously that would jump up way, way, way more. All I did was just simple, small, easy tweaks that can have little results that can turn into big ones over time. So you definitely want to be thinking about that and tackling those and seeing what you can do to increase your conversion rates and test that. Now, for higher ticket stuff, like stuff that's maybe like $500 to $1,000 or more, you want to consider doing a webinar model where you get leads that you send them to like a webinar page or like a replay, and you try to sell them on the call. Because typically for higher price point stuff, you need more of a chance to sell them. You need more of a chance for them to know more about you. You need them to be on a call for like an hour or something like that, just so they get to know you, get to see, your product or service and your demos and all that right there. That tends to work much, much better for the high price point stuff. For the lower price point stuff, you want to test video versus, like a text sales page, because you might find that in some cases, in some niches, a video might be better than a text sales page, whereas in others, it might be the exact opposite. Now, for an opt-in page, you want to almost always make it super simple for best results. Usually, for most opt-in pages, I tend to almost shy away from videos. That there are some exceptions where some can work well, but you want to have it be like a brain dead offer where it's so stupid to turn down that people don't even have to think. Like if a person has to think for a half hour on a video, if they should sign up for a free offer, you're likely to lose that. Whereas if it's a brain dead, easy to understand offer where a headline is all they really need, those are the kind of things that you can get really good opt-in rates on. You also want to constantly be testing different front-end offers, upsells, and so forth on a consistent basis, because you never know when you can find a better upsell or maybe a better front end. Sometimes I've even swapped upsells and front ends around, where I turn an upsell into a front end or vice versa, just to see if that helps right there. And you'd be surprised at how much of a difference some of those can make right there. And also, even adding a simple bonus can make a huge difference. So think about the bonuses and the kind of things that you can add to kind of put those people over the edge and buy, especially when there's like a sense of urgency or like a countdown, because by using countdowns and special offers, it can have a major impact on your conversions too. The key is to not give people too much time to remain undecided, because if they think they have all the time in the world, they're going to take all the time in the world to make a decision. That's why special deals for a limited time offer can work very, very, very well. And as an extra tip here, you can convert even more by turning your expenses, like your support, into profit makers, like by using your support to identify good customers to upsell to or to reach out to with specific offers. Like if your support sees that, hey, there's let's say a guy has like a decent business and he has like a question on some other stuff of yours, and you see that you might have an offer or a service or product that might be perfect for him, they should take the time to point that out right there. By doing so, you can not only make the support cost essentially back, you can oftentimes make a profit off of basically what normally would have cost you a lot of money. So always be looking for ways to upsell or mention additional products and services and stuff, and you'd be surprised at the results that you can get there. Now, the last bit that you should focus on is possible partnerships. Sometimes the quickest way to success is to tap into existing success. Search for potential partners or places that could help market your product for you, or even white label it with them. And again, I know most of you know what that means, but that basically is where you allow them to sell your product or service as their own, under their own name, but you basically, either do the support in the back or you maintain the product and, basically let them sell it as theirs, and you both basically take a cut of that sale. Now, they're often far more likely to promote, their own white label than to just help you for a normal commission, because like sometimes they want to keep, their own brand and stuff, and they feel better about that. So if you allow them to do that, oftentimes they'll be far more likely to make you a lot of money. Now, you want to make sure that you also give them, a big cut of the sales, or I'd say allow them to basically process it, and you basically just take a cut of those sales right there. And the more the more your proposal to them is kind of hands-free or done for you, the more you can do that, and the larger the cut you can give them, it makes it really stupid for them to try to do all the work without using you. For instance, if you have like a ready-made, let's say, SEO service, and you do all the work, you have the service in place, you have the social proof in place, you have the testimonials in place, you have a sales page in place, you have everything in place that they can use right there. Now, of course, they could use their own if they want to as well. The business owners are basically asking themselves this. They're like, do I want to make 100% of the sale, but myself, but then have to basically pay out my own workers to do the work, and also have to go through all the time and trouble to make a sales page, get the social proof, get all that right there, and do all this support? Or do I want to just basically market this right now and implement this right now, and just use this person's team hands-free, or just use this product hands-free and be ready right now? Because oftentimes it'll be a no-brainer to use you right now if it's truly a hands-free proposal, because it saves them a ton of time and a ton of work, and it just makes a lot more sense. And it's a lot more risk to them to do it on their own, because there's no guarantee that they'd make more, because they still have to pay out their own guys to do the work, or to make the products and all that right there. So definitely try to reach out and make those deals, whether it's a service, whether it's a product you're selling, anything, whether it's software, an info product, anything can work right there. And if you don't have a service, or you don't have a product, you can easily make one, because again, there's no excuse why you can't put one together, or kind of be like middleman in one. But again, try to think of what's all the work that you can do to save them from doing work themselves. So if you can save them a lot of time and make them a lot of money, it's almost always a win-win. You also want to seek out basically the top businesses or people in the industry and do proper research on them, which you can do. Like, it's easy to find these guys using things like the backlink tool inside of Webfire to see maybe where your competition gets its traffic from, or who they partner with, or what sites they're mentioned on, or just by doing like a Google search or a Facebook search and stuff. But don't just spam a bunch of people a generic proposal and assume that they'll jump on it. Because if you mail like 100 people a generic proposal, it's pretty obvious that you don't know much about them. It's pretty obvious that you didn't take a lot of time to do much. A lot of them might not be a good fit, and they can easily see through a lot of that. Whereas if you take the time and you just write like just a few of those, but have it be personalized to them, where you explain why it might be a good fit, why it could work, and just see if there's an interest. Oftentimes that gets far better results. And even if you would take some time and mail like 5 guys or so, or even 10, if even just one writes back and makes a deal with you, that can be worth a fortune, because a single deal here can make a business explode overnight. In fact, you can make a business overnight by basically doing a single deal like this right here. And there's nothing that any of you don't have that basically prevents you from basically doing this. It's just essentially taking the time to reach out and make one of these partnerships, and stop trying to basically say, well, maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe once I get some time. No, just go out there, make a product or service, and follow the tips that we said right here. And on the partnership part, reach out and see what kind of deals you can make there. And I think you'd be surprised by how easy of a time you can have with that right there. So in all of the cases, it's important to take action, even if it's imperfect action. Set some time aside each week to take specific action, even if it's just an hour or two of solid focused work. So there's no such thing as really not having any time, when if you can do at least an hour or two a week, you can get some type of work and progress done. The problem is when like people waste time like browsing Facebook or YouTube and they don't get any work actually done and they don't set time aside to do anything. That's when the businesses stall and nothing gets done there. And don't find something to get stuck on or an excuse to quit. Keep going and do what you can. And if you do that, if you take some action, if you implement the stuff that we said right here, I know you guys will get an awesome jump start to your businesses this year. And with that, if you have any other questions, you can feel free to ask those now. And then in a few moments, we'll do the cash giveaway. And to partake in the cash giveaway, here's what you have to do. First, you have to make sure to join this free Facebook group right here. If you're not already a member, I know most of you are signed up here for free, but if not, feel free to do so right now because, again, it's free. Sharon will approve you within like a minute. So you want to go to getwebfire.com/FB group. Again, that's getwebfire.com/FB group. You want to join, and then towards the very top, you'll see a post from Sharon, and it will be dated within the past hour. So make sure you check that. And it says what you thought of today's call. If you click on the comment and you leave a comment within that post, so don't leave a comment on like another post. Leave it within that post right there. We'll pick a random winner and we'll do a drawing live in just a few minutes right here. So make sure that you see Sharon's post from about an hour ago, basically asking what you thought of today's call. If you leave a comment within that post right there, so you just click on the comment within that post right there, basically asking what you thought of the call, or if you have any tips or suggestions for a future call or anything like that, let us know, because we're always interested in your feedback and getting new ideas or seeing what you guys would like to be trained on. So anything at all is fine right there. And with that, I'll see if you guys have any questions here. All right, just gonna switch screens really quick here. All right, just gonna refresh the page here. All right. All right, so here is the page, and if you scroll down right here, you see a post from Sharon about a half hour ago, basically asking what you thought of today's call. If you leave a comment just by basically clicking comment right there, we'll pick a random comment in just a couple minutes right here. And of course, we always appreciate likes and shares and all that as well. But we'll pick a random comment in just a few minutes right here. And with that, I'll see if there's any questions that I maybe have here. All right. I'll just pause the screen for a second as I go through the questions. Okay. All right. All right, so the question here is, if you're asked by a Facebook group to advertise your product on their site, is it a good idea to do? I mean, if they're asking you to advertise on their site, it's worth a try. If there's a fee, it depends upon the size of the group and how basically targeted the group is and all that right there. But you could do the opposite too, where you can reach out to relevant Facebook groups out there, and ones that seem like they're a decent size. Some of those might not make a lot of money. It might be done as like a hobby. If you offer even like $50, or so to basically have a post, on your service or your product, some of them will take you up on that right there. Okay. All right. All right, Francis. So to get the BizFire survey, you have to go to bizfire.com/survey, not just bizfire.com. So you take the survey, and at the very end, to get the funnel maker, it has an ad, and that you can sign up right there to get the funnel maker once you take this survey. And he says right here, it says that he already has an account with his email address. That means that you previously made one, so you can basically check that and see, or just write this support, and they can basically tell you what your login is, or just use a new email. That's all fine too. And it looks like he said he just found it, so never mind. That's that. Okay. And yes, you can definitely use the BizFire survey on any business you want. That's all fine. All right. Hannah asked, you said that we can make products. Could you please give some examples? You can make products on anything, like literally anything. Don't overthink that. If it's a physical product, we've done lots of calls where we show live stuff done on sites like AliExpress, where you can find stuff that you can basically drop ship, from like basically cat toys and dog toys to cool gadgets to basically camping equipment, all that. On the digital side, it can be stuff like how to help with diabetes. It can be, knitting patterns. In fact, I actually know a couple guys are in the knitting niche. Those can sell right there. It can be easy stuff like I've even seen stuff like how to clean like wood floors, or how to fix this, or pretty much any question you have could be turned into a product. Any problem you have can be turned into a product right there. On the service side, some huge ones would be basically ranking or SEO, lead generation, social media management. There's tons of stuff that WebFire itself can do. All those right there can all be services and stuff that you can sell. All right. All right. We have a question here. If there's any free autoresponders where you can sign up and you won't have any issues with spamming. There are some autoresponders out there. That are free, but they're not good, because all the spammers and stuff sign up for those, and it costs too much money to get good delivery and all that. So I highly recommend a paid autoresponder. Ones like GetResponse and Aweber. You're not talking a ton of money. In fact, there's even some. I think GetResponse even has like a free trial. In fact, Sharon, if you have the link, we do have a special link for GetResponse that has like a free account for like a smaller one, but you want to eventually upgrade to the paid one anyway, because you typically get basically better delivery and all that right there. But I'll see if Sharon can find the special link we have for that free account there. All right, JS here, what is the best way to market B2B? It depends specifically on what B2B is. You can rank for various terms or questions that other businesses are possibly asking and give some info right there and lead those, into a sale. You can also get, basically contact info and reach out to you guys right there. You could try Facebook ads and target, either the business owners or the managers. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do, including even like using the lead tools inside a Webfire to find guys asking relevant questions that would be the kinds of questions that these businesses would be asking, and then basically reaching out there and basically answering those. All right. All right, so last question right here. This person said here that you can't advertise straight to a sales page on Facebook. You actually can. So we've actually done that a lot. You just want to make sure that they want to make sure that the user experience is basically good. So I'd have to see your sales page and your niche to really know why that might not be. Sometimes it could be as easy as like, if you don't have the proper stuff that they require, like if you don't have like a privacy policy or a bunch of stuff like that, oftentimes they'll kind of not approve of it. Or if it looks kind of like too spammy and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of things that might be why they turn it down. But you definitely can advertise something that you sell immediately. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of ads in Facebook that sell straight away. So you definitely can right there. So with that, and if I knew what the site was or anything like that, we could take a look and see what might be the issue right there. But with that, let's give some cash away. So I'm just going to refresh the page. And I just muted myself as I sneezed there. All right. So we have, I just refresh the page right here. And we have, let's see, looks like 44 comments there so far. Let me do a quick count. So I'll give you guys maybe 5 seconds to wrap up a comment there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. That's funny. All right, looks like 1 person left a comment in the wrong area. Oh, 2 people did. All right, 3 did. All right, so 3 left the comments outside, plus 44, so 47 in total. We'll see what the random winner is right here. 20. All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so I might be saying your name wrong, but Ove Goodmanson. If this is you or looks like you and you graduated in 1975, congratulations. You are $100 richer, or you will be, as soon as you post up your PayPal email to Sharon in the chat box. So again, congratulations to Ove Goodmanson for being this week's $100 winner. So with that, just basically post up your PayPal and she'll get it over to you right away. And with that, I want to congratulate him and Want to wish all of you, again, happy holidays. Hope everything went well and hope you have a great start of the new year. If you have any other questions or anything like that, feel free to write us at support@webfire.com or use the help desk inside the members area. We'd be happy to help all of you out right there. So definitely reach out to us right there. And with that, hope you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week then. So have a great day, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.